Greetings and welcome to another video for VoiceAttack, Elite VA plugin and Elite Dangerous. In this episode we're going to look at adding a few quality of life updates for the FSD jump. Now before we start with the command, we're just going to have a quick FSD 101. So if you're familiar with how it works, skip to the next chapter and we'll see you in a minute. So for everybody else, let's have a look at the FSD drive and how it works. So if we go into the game, in the controls, it gives us three keybinds for the frameshift drive. We've got the toggle frameshift, the super cruise and the hyperspace jump. As it says on the text, the toggle frameshift drive bind will engage the FSD to either enter hyperspace if another system has been target locked, or super cruise if there's no target. Also, if you're already in super cruise, it will drop you out of super cruise. It's a semi-intelligent keybind. The only slight problem with it is if you've got a system target locked and it's obscured by a planet or a station or something, or you're in mass lock and you hit the button, it won't engage the FSD in any way, shape or form. So if you're in normal space, you'll stay in normal space. And if you're in super cruise, you'll stay in super cruise. And then we've got two other keybinds. We've got the super cruise button, and that is purely to either engage or disengage the super cruise. And we've got the hyperspace jump, which is exactly the same. It will only engage or disengage the hyperspace if you've got a targeted system or you've got a high wake scan locked on target. And that's how the FSD works in a proverbial nutshell. The other thing with the FSD drive is it can't engage the supercruise or hyperspace modes if you have any of your modules deployed, or hardpoints, landing gear, or cargo hatch. The game won't automatically retract them for you. But this is where our little quality of life improvements can come in. So if we're going to go back into VoiceAttack. So if we now look in the status file, we should have a marker for the hardpoints, the landing gear and the cargo scoop. There's my hardpoints there. So we've got hardpoints, cargo scoop, and we've got the landing gear somewhere as well. There we go, we've got the landing gear. So we now know whether they are retracted or deployed. So now we need to make a command to check if our modules are deployed, and if they are, to retract them. We're going to go into the profile. We're going to make a new command. And this one is going to be called, we'll call it module check. And you can see why I put the brackets and the asterisk around it in a little bit. We never need to say this command, so we can just turn it off there. We go down to description. Just so we know what it is, check if modules are deployed. And we want to make this one of our called commands. Now we need to do three condition checks. One for the hardpoints, one for the landing gear, and one for the cargo scoop. So we're going to go Other, Advanced, Begin Single Condition. And we need to do a true or false. We're going to do the hardpoint one first. Need to grab the hardpoint one there. Now, if that's true, we want to retract it. We click OK for the moment. Go into our bindings file. And now we need to find the keybind to retract the hardpoints. And there we go, we've got the deploy hardpoint toggle. We copy this. And in here we do a key press, variable, and paste it, and done. Nice and easy. We can now duplicate this. And then what we need to do is, while we're in here, we need to do the landing gear and the cargo scoop right there. Okay, so we've got the landing gear one. And then we have the cargo scoop there. And now we need to change the conditions on the landing gear and the cargo scoop. Cargo scoop there. And then we want the landing gear as well. We go landing gear is that one there. We're done. Now we want to be able to test this. Comma, test modules. Okay, that. Okay, that. We can go back to the game. We've got the hardpoints deployed, and you can do the cargo scoop as well. And now we can test the command. Test modules. And there we go. Straight away, it's retracted the hardpoints, the landing gear, and the cargo scoop. If we deploy just the hardpoints, test modules, do the landing gear, test modules, test modules. And straight away, we've got a command that can retract any deployed modules. Okay, so we're done with that one. So now we have a command that will automatically retract any deployed modules. So now we need to work out a way of using it. So we can now make a command to activate the frameshift drive. If we go back into the profile, we go new command, and we can say engage FSD. If we wanted to, we could have more variations. Now I've got activate or engage. And if we wanted, we could do, we can now say activate FSD, activate frameshift drive, engage, etc. We've covered the dynamic commands in another video, which I can put a link to in the top right hand corner. And we can also activate a command with either press keys or press a button. So in this case, we're going to do a button. So I need to push that button, but I want it to be held down. So shortcut is invoked when long pressed. The reason being is that that button is my trigger for the hyperspace toggle bind. And by having it held down, it serves a dual purpose. Okay, that. So what's the first thing we want to do when we engage the FSD? Well, in this case, we want to retract any deployed modules. We go to Other, VoiceAttack Action, execute another command, and you can now see that that command we made is now at the very top of this list above all of the other API commands for the plugin. You can OK that. And if we OK and then do done, hop back into the game. If I deploy cargo scoop, for example, engage FSD. The module's retracted. We know it works for the others because we tested it earlier. So that's now working nicely. And then all we need to do is go back into the command. And now we need to press the key for the hyperspace. There we go. Hyperspace. There we go. Hyper super combination. That's our Super Cruise one there. Now this will only show you keybinds if you have something set up in Elite Dangerous. If a keybind is blank, like the hyperspace only option, it doesn't show up in here, which is quite handy. So if we now copy this, key press, we're done. We go back and test it. Activate FSD. There you go. Module retracted. engages the FSD. And that works quite nicely. But what if you're mass locked, or if you've got a system targeted and it's behind a planet? Well, we can cover that too. So the first one we need to do is mass lock. What we need to do is get back into mass locking the ship. Okay, so this is the mass locked variable, and it shows us it being true for the moment. So what we need to do is wait until we're out of mass lock before jumping. So if we copy this, we'll go back into our engage FSD command. What we need to do is put a loop in so the command will not continue until we're out of mass lock. We go other start while mass lock equals true loop, and we want to put a pause in as well. So let's do half a second to begin with. So all that's going to happen is, whilst we're in mass lock, we're going to keep on waiting half a second until we're at mass lock. As soon as it becomes false, command will continue. Now we could also add in a boost command if we wanted to. If we go back to the bindings, and we want to look for the boost button. Okay, we've got use boost juice. So if we highlight that, and then what we can do is we can do key press. What we'll now do is we engage the jump drive. If the mass lock equals true, it will do a boost. Wait half a second, check to see if we're still in mass lock, do another boost until we're at mass lock. But then to do a engine boost, we need to have pips into engines. What we can then do is we can do another command, which is one we made earlier. Execute another command, and we need to drop it on here. If we scroll down, looking for our engines and shield command, down at the very bottom. So there we go, engines and systems. Okay, that. And now if we come back out, go into the game. So if we now engage the FSD drive, pips to engines, 2 to systems, and we're boosting every half a second. And then we've got the jump drive engaging. Now, depending upon your power distributor, you might have to wait for it to do another boost, but it will do it every half a second. Now, that's working quite nicely. The other thing we mentioned was, what if your destination is behind a planet or a star or something, and you can't engage the actual hyperspace option? Well, we can get around that too. What we need to know is, has the hyperspace drive started charging? There's a check for that. We can see here, we have a boolean for FSD charging, whether it's true or false. If we go fire it off in the game quickly, you now see it's jumped up to the top because it's the active command, and the FSD is charging. And we also have a variable for whether or not we've entered hyperspace. Now we can't see it in here at the moment because we haven't made a jump yet. If I make a jump in the game and then come back in a minute, it'll be there. Now I made a jump to another system, so we should have in here somewhere. And we've got the option there, FSD jump, which is what we're looking for. So now we just want to do a check to see if we're in Super Cruise or the destination is blocked. We need to go back into the profile, and we want to go into our engage FSD command. So now we need to set up the loop. But we don't want the loop to run forever, so we want to set up a variable to count how many times the loop run. So in this case, we're going to call it tilde loop count. Pop that into a clipboard. We're using the tilde, so this variable only runs in this command. It's a throwaway variable. And we want to set it to 0. We go other, advanced, and we want to do a compound condition loop. So the first thing we want to do is, are we in supercruise? And there we go, that one there. Copy that. So if supercruise is false, and loop count is, oh, not that's an integer. Loop count is less than or equal to 5. Continue the loop. Now I'm going to copy this into OR. Paste, delete. And then I want to do is FSD charging. Copy that and do that. And now we need to do a pause of a second. So what's going to happen now is when we do the command, it'll get down to this point and it will say, is supercruise true or false? Well, in the case, it's going to be false because we're in normal space and the loop count is less than or equal to 5. Or is FSD charging false and the loop count less than or equal to 5? If either of those two conditions are true, you're going to loop around until one of them becomes false. And then what we then need to do is we need to check to see if we're in supercruise, and if we're not in supercruise, engage the supercruise key. So we need to do a condition. So we do advanced condition, and then we need to go on our supercruise one. So if we're not in supercruise, supercruise equals false, we want to engage the supercruise button. Go to our keybinds, on that one there. Press. It's in the wrong place, so we just grab that, move it down. Missed that one. There you go. That's it. So it will do the loop, and when it comes out of the loop, if we're not in supercruise already, then it goes to the supercruise button. And now we can go and give it a test and see if the thing actually works. So where we are now, we've got a target system highlighted, but it's blocked because it's behind the star. So if we hold down our button to engage the FSD drive, that's what happens. It's thinking about it, and it's not working. So why is it not working? Well, it's a good opportunity to do some bug testing. Let's go back into command. Make sure the command isn't still running for some reason. Okay, and it was still running for some reason. So why was it running? Guessing you most probably spotted why it wasn't running. Because we didn't implement the loop. We're going to do that now. And then we want to change it so it adds 1. Just a simple little thing made a massive, massive problem. Okay, that. Do that. And we'll go back to the game and we shall try it again. And now it's working. Funny that, it does help if you build the command correctly in the first place. So we need to throttle up. And now we get into supercruise. There you go. So with a little faux pas on my part, we're now in supercruise. we can fly around our obstacle and engage the FSD drive and jump back to where we were. So there you go. Couple of quality of life improvements for the FSD drive. Hopefully that will make your space travels a little easier. If you have any questions, comments, ideas, what do you think, put them in the comments section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you've enjoyed the video or found it useful, click the like button, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe too and share the video out. Until the next one, take care and I'll see you soon. Toodles!